Welcome to Year in Review, the show where we break down a year to bring you some of the most notable moments in TV and film month by month. Today we're heading all the way back to 2022. It was a big year for the return of some major franchises, with one flying around on dragons and the other living on the extrasolar moon known as Pandora. And as the film and television industry continued to move on from that #pandemic life, we were treated to some awesomely unique and original projects and a couple major, and I do mean major, sequels. So dig out your old 2022 New Year's party favors from the party stuff bin and get ready, because we're headed back to 2022 right now.
So I'll never leave here.
You'll leave at 5. Well, actually, they stagger our exit, so 5:15. But it won't feel like it, not to this version of you anyway.
Do you have a family?
You'll never know.
Premiering on Apple TV Plus in February was the drama series Severance. It was created by Dan Erickson in what is considered his first major Hollywood project, and executive produced by Ben Stiller, who also directed 6 of season 1's 9 episodes. In it, Adam Scott stars as an employee who agrees to have his non-work memories separated from his work memories. But when a colleague mysteriously appears outside of work, they start to discover the truth about their jobs.
How many departments are there?
Probably
Around
30.
5.
No one's quite sure.
O&D tried a violent coup on the others decades ago, and that's why they reduced them down to 2, and that's why they keep us all so far apart now.
That's an absolute fiction.
Did they ever kill anyone?
Nope. There was no coup. No one killed anyone.
Then why don't we ever hang out?
I mean, I'm 99% sure there was no coup.
This series was influenced by things like the urban legend known as the Backrooms, the Stanley Parable video game, and the film The Truman Show. And that turned out to be a recipe for success, because Severance, which was renewed for a second season in April of 2022, was nominated for 14 Emmy Awards, including Outstanding Drama Series and Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama for Scott. Critics say, audacious, mysterious, and bringing fresh insight into the perils of corporate drudgery, Severance is the complete package. Coming in March of 2022, or The March, was the DC film The Batman. It was directed by Matt Reeves, with Robert Pattinson taking over the mantle of Batman, where we find him just in his second year of fighting crime. And adding to the star power and rebooting of popular characters is Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, Paul Dano as the Riddler, Jeffrey Wright as James Gordon, and Colin Farrell as the Penguin. If you can even tell.
I got you! I got you! Take that, you friggin' psycho! I got you!
The film was delayed twice from an original June 2021 release date due to the COVID-19 pandemic, before finally finding a home in 2022, where it became the 7th highest grossing film of the year with $770 million worldwide. Intended to be a reboot of the Batman film franchise, there is indeed at least one sequel in the works, along with a couple spin-off television series being developed for HBO Max. Critics say, a grim, gritty, and gripping super noir, The Batman ranks among The Dark Knight's bleakest and most thrillingly ambitious live-action outings. Also arriving in March was one of the indie hits of the year, Everything Everywhere All at Once. This one was written and directed by the Daniels, Kwan and Scheinert, who also produced the film with the Russos, Anthony and Joe. This sci-fi action-adventure follows a Chinese-American immigrant played by Michelle Yeoh, who, while being audited by the IRS, discovers that she can save the world by connecting with parallel universe versions of herself. The Daniels had an idea for a multiverse-related idea as far back as 2010 and finally started writing it in 2016, with the lead role originally written for Jackie Chan before eventually being reworked. Along with a unique soundtrack that features artists like David Byrne, Andre 3000, and Randy Newman, the film was mostly shot at a high frame rate to give them more flexibility to put different parts in slow motion. So cool. Critics say, led by an outstanding Michelle Yeoh, Everything Everywhere All at Once lives up to its title with an expertly calibrated assault on the senses. Also coming in March via Apple TV Plus was the drama series Pachinko, based on the New York Times bestselling novel of the same name from 2014. The saga-like series follows a Korean immigrant family across 4 generations as they leave their homeland in order to chase and fulfill their hopes and dreams.
미국 같이 가자고 할 거다면서다. 예일대 가자고.
학비대 주캔?
나 말고 마씨. 앤드류.
그 기껏 닮은 아들놈? 이신집에서 안 태어났으면 지구실도 못 태어날 놈이야. 우리 아들이 이치로 잘하신디 아방을 잘못 만나.
The very certified fresh first season has been a hit with, well, pretty much everyone, as it's picked up Critics' Choice, Satellite, and Emmy Award nominations, among others, which no doubt helped pave the way for a confirmed second season. Critics say, intricate yet intimate, Pachinko is a sweeping epic that captures the arc of history as well as the enduring bonds of family. Hitting theaters in April was The Northman, directed and co-written by Robert Eggers, who was coming off his 2019 hit The Lighthouse. Starring Alexander Skarsgård, this film is based on the legend of Amleth, a figure from a medieval Scandinavian legend and the direct inspiration for the character of Hamlet.
Your taste and your mind reek of your foul father. You should have joined him in death.
Your words are poison!
I am your death.
Skarsgård, who was born to a Swedish family and has been fascinated with Viking history, was actively seeking a Viking-themed project. So boom, it's Kismet. He was joined by stars like Nicole Kidman, Ethan Hawke, and Anya Taylor-Joy, the latter of whom previously worked with Eggers on the certified fresh film The Witch. Critics say a bloody revenge epic and breathtaking visual marvel, The Northman finds filmmaker Robert Eggers expanding his scope without sacrificing any of his signature style.
Setting time to target, 2 minutes, 15 seconds.
2:15, that's impossible.
File attack point. Maverick's inbound.
And buzzing the tower on May 27th was the sequel 36 years in the making, Top Gun Maverick, with Tom Cruise and Val Kilmer reprising their roles from 1986's Top Gun. This time, Cruise's Maverick character is tasked with training a group of younger Top Gun graduates, which includes Miles Teller as Rooster, the son of Maverick's late best friend and co-pilot Goose. Crews insisted that no green screen or CGI aerial shots be used in the film, so even the close-up cockpit shots were filmed during actual in-flight sequences. Of course, that all added to the action intensity, especially if you saw it in theaters, which when looking at the numbers, I'd say most of us did.
Come on, bad boy, get it online. There's no time. I'm dropping blinds. Oh, sir, I got this. I got time. This. Pull away. Bombs away. Bombs away.
Bullseye, bullseye, bullseye!
Speaking of which, after being pushed from its original July 2019 release so that they could work out the flight sequences, plus there was a pandemic thrown in there, the film finally opened in 2022 to rave reviews and huge dollar signs, as in nearly $1.5 billion worldwide. Critics say Top Gun Maverick pulls off a feat even trickier than a 4G inverted dive, delivering a long-belated sequel that surpasses its predecessor in wildly entertaining style.
Of course, you gotta listen to the people that you love. But in the end, you gotta listen to yourself. So I want you to know those New York people ain't gonna change me none. I'm gonna show you what the real Elvis is like tonight.
Hip-shaking into theaters in June was the biopic Elvis, directed by Baz Luhrmann and starring Austin Butler in the titular role. This film chronicles the life of Mr. Elvis Presley, from his early days to becoming a music and movie star, while centering around his relationship with manager Colonel Tom Parker, played by Tom Hanks.
We're pretty set for the number tomorrow, right, EP? It's pretty familiar territory, right?
Reverend once told me, when things are too dangerous to say, sing.
The project was announced in April of 2014, with no further developments until Hanks was cast in 2019. Meanwhile, Butler beat out an impressive list of names being considered for Elvis, including Ansel Elgort, Miles Teller, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Harry Styles. Elvis grossed $286 million worldwide, which is good enough to be the second highest grossing music biopic ever, behind 2018's Bohemian Rhapsody. Critics say the standard rock biopic formula gets all shook up in Elvis, with Baz Luhrmann's dazzling energy and style perfectly complemented by Austin Butler's outstanding lead performance. Showing up in July was Nope, which was written, directed, and produced by Jordan Peele and came on the heels of his other hit horror flicks, Get Out and Us. Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer star in this one as a brother and sister who make a chilling discovery in the skies above their California horse ranch. Peele wrote the script with Kaluuya in mind after previously working with him on Get Out, and also brought in actors like Stephen Yeun, Keith David, and Brandon Perea to round out the cast.
Are you okay? Are you good? Oh no.
And Peele's signature unique style continues to impress both fans and critics, as the certified fresh film picked up a bunch of nominations and awards along the way, and maybe, just maybe, a sequel could be coming from this one. Maybe. Critics say, admirable for its originality and ambition, even when its reach exceeds its grasp, Nope adds Spielbergian spectacle to Jordan Peele's growing arsenal.
My brother's city has fallen into squalor. Crime of every breed has been allowed to thrive. No longer. Beginning tonight, King's Landing will learn to fear the color gold.
And to keep the heat of the summer going, August brought the premiere of HBO's House of the Dragon. This Game of Thrones prequel series is once again based on novels by George R.R. Martin and is set 200 years before the events of Game of Thrones. It tells the story of the beginning of the end of the House Targaryen, a family of dragon lords. The series premiere was considered the biggest in HBO's history, with over 10 million viewers across the linear channels and HBO Max. So it's no surprise that a second season renewal came less than a week after the premiere.
Let us drain our cups to these three strong boys.
I dare you to say that again.
Why? It was only a compliment. Do you not think yourself strong?
Plus, House of the Dragon earned multiple Golden Globe, Critics' Choice, and People's Choice Award nominations for what is yet another intriguing story from the mind of George R.R. Martin. Critics say, covering an era of tenuous peace with ferocious, albeit abbreviated focus, House of the Dragon is an impressive prequel that exemplifies the court intrigue that distinguished its predecessor.
Our ancestors demand we rip the shackles of doubt from our minds and fight with courage. We fight not just for today, but for the future. We are the spear of victory. We are the blade of freedom.
Ascending the throne in September of 2022 was The Woman King, directed by Gina Prince Blythewood and starring Viola Davis. This historical film is about the Agoji, an all-female warrior unit that protected the West African kingdom of Dahomey from the 17th to the 19th centuries. The idea for this story was conceived by Maria Bello, one of the film's producers, after she visited Africa where the kingdom used to be located and learned the history of the Agoji. The Woman King opened at #1 at the box office and went on to earn $83 million worldwide against a $50 million budget. Plus, it confirmed what we all knew, that Viola Davis is a complete and utter badass. Critics say, all hail Viola Davis, the Woman King rules. Lighting up theaters in October was the highly anticipated Black Adam. The film stars Dwayne Johnson, who, after much prodding from fans and plenty of work on his end, was finally able to make the movie happen. Black Adam is an anti-hero of sorts who was enslaved for 5,000 years for pursuing justice in his own way in a place called Kandak before being unleashed in modern times for this story.
I can't hold it much longer.
The film, which was directed by Jama Colette Serra of House of Wax and The Shallows fame, introduced the group known as the Justice Society of America, which in the comics included a character named Dr. Fate, played by Pierce Brosnan in this movie. Black Adam also introduced Hawkman, played by Aldous Hodge, and Cyclone, played by Contessa Swindle. And while critics didn't love it and the box office numbers could barely recoup the film's budget, fans are loving the character and hoping for more to come. Critics say, Black Adam may end up pointing the way to an exciting future for DC films, but as a standalone experience, it's a wildly uneven letdown.
We're going to use Daddy's camera to film it. Only crash the train once, okay? Then after we get the film developed, you can watch it crash over and over till it's not so scary anymore. And your real train won't ever get broken. One more thing, Dolly. Let's not tell your father. It'll be our secret movie, just yours and mine.
And with the calendar switch to November came the latest Steven Spielberg offering, The Fabelmans, a semi-autobiographical story based on Spielberg's adolescence and first years as a filmmaker. The cast features Michelle Williams, Paul Dano, Seth Rogen, and Gabriel LaBelle, the latter of whom plays young Sammy Fabelman, who falls in love with movies in post-World War II era Arizona and starts to make his own at home.
I'm asking you to do this now for your mom.
Yeah, and I said that I will, just not tomorrow.
Don't be selfish. She just lost her mother. That's more important than your hobby.
Dad, can you stop calling it a hobby?
It'll cheer her up. Watching this, it's something we
Her
can do.
mom just died. How is that gonna cheer her up?
Because you made it for her.
Along with this stellar cast and Spielberg's touch, the film also features music by the one and only John Williams. And while it didn't do much in theaters, The Fabelmans was a film festival darling and is widely considered to be one of the best films of the year, with plenty of award love to back it up. Critics say, part memoir, part ode to the power of the movies, The Fabelmans finds Steven Spielberg digging at the family roots that helped make him a beloved filmmaker, and proves he hasn't lost his magic touch.
Aneka, where is your spear? Should've gave me this to try. You know, I like them better. Our foremothers gave us this spear because it is precise, elegant, and deadly. It will not change under my watch.
Also opening in November was Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, the sequel to 2018's Black Panther and the final film in the MCU's Phase 4. It was directed by Ryan Coogler, who co-wrote the screenplay with Joe Robert Cole, holding the same roles they did for the first film. And while plans began immediately following the first installment, the death of Chadwick Boseman in 2020 shifted things and ultimately gave Letitia Wright, who plays T'Challa's sister Shuri, a larger role.
Get out of my dorm. Get out. Hey, I'm warning you, do not take another step toward me. See how they teach the children to treat their guests. Put a spear in here. Who brought a spear in here? I like it.
Wakanda Forever also introduces Ironheart, played by Dominic Thorne, a genius inventor with a suit of armor like Iron Man, who also has her own self-titled series coming to Disney+. The film pulled in over $820 million worldwide as one of the highest grossers of the year and received plenty of award show love, especially for Angela Bassett and her performance as Ramonda, the mother of T'Challa. Critics say, a poignant tribute that satisfyingly moves the franchise forward, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever marks an ambitious and emotionally rewarding triumph for the MCU.
This is our home.
I need you with me. And I need you to be strong.
And finally, splashing its way into theaters in December was the long-awaited Avatar: The Way of Water. Directed by James Cameron, this marks the second installment in the franchise following 2009's Avatar. This one is set more than a decade after the first film and finds Sam Worthington's Jake Sully now settled down with his family, including Zoe Saldana as his wife Neytiri, as they must work together with others in the Na'vi race to fight a familiar threat and protect their home.
Treat them as our brothers and sisters. Teach them our ways. Keep up, Forest Boy! If you want to live here, you have to ride.
Let's do it.
The film was initially slated for a 2014 release, but later pushed in order to develop new technology to film performance capture scenes underwater. When things did finally get underway, the budget was a reported $250 million, making it one of the most expensive films of all time. But hey, you gotta spend money to make money, and that is just what Avatar: The Way of Water has done. After the 11th best worldwide opening weekend ever, it eventually crossed the $1.4 billion mark in worldwide ticket sales in January of 2023. And even though it took 13 years between the first and second installments, the next 3 sequels are set to be released in December of 2024, December of 2026, and December of 2028. Sure they are. Critics say, narratively, it might be fairly standard stuff, but visually speaking, Avatar: The Way of Water is a stunningly immersive experience. Holy cow, we did it! Who knew that looking back on all the big movies and shows of 2022 would be so much fun? Well, we did actually. That's why we do this show. Anyway, what was your favorite title from the year? And was there anything we left out? Do let us know. Thanks for checking out our year in review for 2022. We'll see you in the future for more discussions about the past.